pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call. Joe Bailey is here.
John Hotchkiss is here.
Fleming Cleary is out tonight for a personal business. So. Right. So we'll just move right into the normal procedure. Minutes from the Board of Selectmen meeting, 1/8/20.
I've read them already. I move that we accept the minutes for a selectmen meeting dated January 8th, 2018.
I will second, and all in favor?
Aye.
Alright, so. Next one is the EMD position, which is Emergency Management Director for the town. For a number of years, Selectman Hotchkiss is filling that role, and he wants to give it up, and we have someone who has stepped up to take this position, and it will be Officer Greg Cooper of the Police Department. So, it's not a paid position, it's a volunteer type of thing, whatever, so. There was a phone stipend that with it, but he gets that through the police department anyhow, so we actually save a few dollars that way.
I checked with Chief Blodgett to make sure there'd be no problems with one of his full-time officers serving as emergency management, and said no, not at all. Good to have him on board.
So is there any paperwork for that, Laura? We just go ahead and just tell him, go ahead and do it, and that's it?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
And I will transfer my radio, computer, and so forth that goes with emergency management to him when we can get together.
And basically, when the March meeting takes place like that and the budget approved, then he can have access to that budget number. So-
Does he need a radio if he has one from the PD, or are they still short-handed for radios?
He doesn't need one, but there's one that goes with the emergency management position.
Okay.
Yeah, I think downstairs, they don't take those radios home, they leave them here.
Right,
So
okay.
he'll need to have access there all the time for that, so.
And there's a computer that goes with it, it's a laptop. I'm not sure where that will end up. I've kept it here. I don't know what he'll do. I don't know if there's room downstairs for it or what. Does not do much good at home. If there's any type of emergency, ice storms, tornadoes, whatever, need to be here, not at your house.
Joanne?
Will he also attend the Stratford regional meetings and that sort of thing?
No, the Stratford Regional Planning, you're talking about that, or the emergency. Emergency meetings he would go to. Okay, like emergency planning, training, he would go to. That's different than Stratford Regional Planning Commission, which, what's her name, Bryson? Works on the, Mackenzie Bryson, right? Yeah, she's our representative for that. Yeah.
All right, so I guess that, any more questions about it, or? Okay. We're gonna move into the warrant articles for this year's budget for this March meeting. Basically, we're gonna start with Article 8, only because the rest of it is all to do with the budget.
That would be 7, I
I
cut
think
it
we
off.
can do
Oh,
7.
7? Okay, I'm sorry.
These are copied from last year, so here's a chance to say whether we want to do it again or change it.
No, this will also be brought up with the full package with the deliberative session off the class as well, so. Okay, number 7, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $200,000 for the purpose of road construction and paving of various roads in town. This is a non-lapsing appropriation pursuant to RSA 32:7 6, and will not lapse until December 31st, 2022, whichever is sooner.
Shouldn't it be 2023?
No, I changed it already.
Okay,
Okay?
2022.
And again, this has to have your recommendation. We just put this because this is what's supposed to read, and it is going to be recommended by the Board of Selectmen, so.
Is that what we've been running, is 200,000?
Well, it varies. Rick
I'm
likes
just
Rick
curious.
wants 250 sometimes, and we say it's as far as 300. These have been cut down to 100,000, depending on the, whatever happens to the rest of
Yeah.
the stuff, so.
Has he been talked about this?
Yeah, this is Rick's number.
Okay.
Remember, these are all from last year.
I just
Okay.
wondered if that was his number
Yeah.
for this year.
We were not able to reach him today to confirm that he wants.
Oh, so
that.
this is,
I'm
Okay.
pretty sure he told me it was 200,000.
Okay.
I thought I heard Ned say it one
Yeah.
time, to keep the
so
same
it's
as
the
of last
same
year.
as
so.
was, okay, that's what I thought.
Alright.
Yeah, these are done, this is last year's.
No, and everybody knows that 10,000 was actually finished up down in Pinkham and Arwen and stuff like that this year.
Shore Road.
Sure, so, I mean, so that project's pretty much done, so that's pretty cool. All right, number 8, Highway Department buildings. To see if the town will vote and raise and appropriate the sum of $10,000 to be added to the Highway Department Building Capital Reserve Fund. And that's every year we put the $10,000 or $15,000 in there.
What's
Okay.
the, do we know what the balance is in there?
It's 170,000, wasn't it, Laura?
The highway building?
Yeah.
No, it's like 124.
Oh,
Right.
well, if that's more than that, no. But now, don't forget, we're going to start prepping the work down there. So we just signed a contract with the company, put out the bid. And they're going to go down there and start prepping that work this spring to get that area all,
But that money wouldn't come out of here,
Yes.
would it? Oh, it does, it
yes.
comes out of the
They
building.
can spend it anytime.
Oh, no, it just says building, so I'm just,
Well, no, that's the groundwork for it.
okay, alright, I'm just.
No, just let you know. 9, capital, ambulance capital reserve. See if the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $15,000 to be added to the ambulance capital reserve fund. And again, this is what we're putting every year, and that's some $70,000 in that area. at that
Yeah.
point.
Between the revolving and the capital reserve.
Okay, so,
Everybody know the difference between the capital reserve and revolving fund? Capital reserve comes from taxation. Revolving comes from fees collected as a result of going on an ambulance call. Is that pretty accurate? Okay.
and Article 10, milfoil. We do this every year to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $5,000 to be added to the milfoil invasive aquatic species capital reserve fund established for the purpose of treating exotic milfoil and other exotic aquatic weeds. Let's read that one real slow. No, and that's basically it, unless somebody has something that we're not, ready for. I mean, between now and the time that,
Whole other side?
huh?
You flip the page.
Oh, that's it?
You wish. I was like, what?
Wow, I thought we was getting out of this real quick and easy.
Done.
Done, move on.
Wish in there, huh?
Okay, well, Article 11. I wanted a short meeting, I guess not. No. SCBA CRF.
Read
To
that.
see if the town will vote and raise the sum of $5,000 to be added to the SCBA Capital Reserve Fund.
You okay?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, that's the breathing apparatus the firefighters use.
When someone asks, how many did we get this year so far?
We got 12.
Thank you.
So now we're gonna start adding into it, so we're stuck with this big purchase every couple of years. We'll put this money in and we start rotating it out, and we'll always be buying something, but not all the time, everything, so. Article 12, revaluation. You see the town will vote and raise the raise and appropriate the sum of $10,000 to be added to the revaluation capital reserve fund. So, we do that every year, and then every, fourth year or fifth year, we do it. the
This
whole
year,
thing.
18 is a rebound year.
Yeah, so.
But we still put money in?
Yeah,
Okay.
because it's every 4 years.
Okay.
Article 13, Lucky 13, Cemetery Fund. To see the town will vote to raise and appropriate $15,000 to be placed in the town of Middleton Cemetery Capital Reserve Fund.
And remember, 1,200 of that goes right to Wakefield every year.
Until we get around, going there. 14, natural man-made disaster, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $1,000 to be added to the natural man-made disaster capital reserve fund. Same total every year.
What are we up to now, 7,000 or 8,000?
6, I believe. I'd have to look, but it's not.
It's not much.
No.
And Chief Lawrence, your expert opinion, if there's actually natural or man-made disaster, okay, the scope of which could be like a hurricane down south, fires out in California, how long would $6,000 or $7,000 last?
About the first hour.
First hour, yeah, might get some water bottles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Expensive money.
Shouldn't that read natural or man-made?
Yes, it should.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's contradictory.
Yeah. And man-made disaster, and something, a big oil spill that contaminated, the town here or something like that. So, have to pay to get that cleaned up, maybe part of Article 15, Old Town Hall renovations, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $60,000 for the completion of the renovations of the town hall, to be funded from December 31st, 2016 unsigned fund balance. I have a question.
Yeah, we're gonna change all that.
That's, he told me just to plug in one so he could talk about the kitchen.
Okay.
That'll change.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. A
So
little
you,
slow in the uptake, I knew about that too.
Over the years, we've appropriated money and we've received money from LCHIP for the renovations of the old town hall. Those renovations are almost done. They've actually put in the second set of stairs. The finished work, wainscoting is almost done downstairs. At no point in all of this work were there ever funds set aside for the kitchen. However, the kitchen has received some damage as a result of trying to fix the building. The floor is uneven. The ceiling cracked so bad that they took it down in the kitchen. Okay? Again, there was never money set aside for the kitchen. The kitchen's not part of this historic project. However, there is some money left over that the folks through LCHIP and Steve Bedard are willing to repair the floor in the kitchen. If you ever walk into it now, the center is about 3 inches lower than the sides, okay? So they're gonna fix that. I'm not sure whether they go into the crawl space or they have to take cabinets out, but apparently one of the cross floor joists is broken. They're going to plaster, not sheetrock, plaster the ceiling in the kitchen. The wire mesh is already up there. I didn't know anybody still did plastering, but that's gonna be done. However, that still leaves us with old cabinets, a kitchen that is way, way too big. I know of no other kitchen in the area that's that big. We would like to get an estimate to put on a warrant article to take the back 1/3 of the kitchen and make it into a office storage space, perhaps for the rec department. If you're all familiar with the kitchen, where the big gas stove is, that would stay there, and that would be kind of a beginning of the kitchen from there out to the main meeting hall. We would take apart the inside walls, do nothing to the outside walls, insulate, put sheetrock up, and put new cabinets in. All right? I've got an estimate already from Milton Building for cabinets and countertops. I'm waiting for estimates from contractors so that I can present some sort of price tag to get this thing updated. I would hate to have a town hall done and the kitchen not. I think we can do it through fund balance and not require any taxes. Okay, from the money left over from 2017 budget, so that we could get this thing finished. Joanne?
When you say we have wanted to do this with the kitchen and the storage, is that the general consensus of multiple people about
Yes.
setting up aside
Yes.
space? And
That-
has the kitchen design actually been requested by Milton
Yes.
Supplier?
All done.
Yeah, I already have plans, anybody's welcome to look at on how we would rearrange this. For example, we have a double sink. By code, you're supposed to have a triple sink for washing dishes. Wash, rinse, disinfect.
Could you bring those plans to one of the meetings maybe?
Sure, I'm gonna run to my desk and see them right after if you like. If you're all familiar with that kitchen, stove is here, refrigerator's here, and another refrigerator's way over here. It would kind of make sense to put them all together and maybe get a upright freezer to go with it. The island is way too big and inefficient in terms of trying to use it. There's been talk of using a stainless steel tables, which are movable, to help prepare the food. Also, John Mullen has done a tremendous job of fixing the counters behind the two pass-through windows. And perhaps that, if we make the kitchen a little bit smaller, perhaps that area could be used for either dispensing food or receiving dishes. So the kitchen would still be plenty big enough, and I think there's enough room in the back for, I don't know, rec department to build an office, okay? We would not change the outside at all, we're not gonna move any windows, any doors, it's just what's inside. And the only way I can justify this is if we don't spend any more tax money. All right?
Fund balance has over 800,000, no more,
750.
750. We like to keep usually $500,000 in that balance at all times, so that will fund the down for at least 3 months. So when nobody paid the taxes for 3 months, we have the money to pay the bills, that sort of thing. The recommendation don't need that much money, but I'm just gonna move it
Close,
more.
right.
I don't wanna you know what I mean? I don't wanna get that close that you have to go there and borrow money now, all of a sudden get a Dan note to pay your bills. I don't wanna do that. So, the 500,000, that kinda leaves money in the fund balance that we use for this sort of thing like that, or paying off a piece of highway like we did last year, you know, that sort of thing. You know, the fire truck we paid off early, save some interest money, you know? So, we usually like to utilize it that way, you know, so.
The question back on number 14 reminded me of an old subject that we covered. The fuel supply over by the town, by the highway. Something about the pad need to be poured or.
They had to put a dike around it.
That's been done.
It's all done. I mean, all done, it's up to code. Training's been done, everything's been done, so.
If we move to the new area down the road, it would have to be a different design. But with the design that's there, we made modifications that will satisfy the code.
If we do move that down to the
Right.
new highway barn area, what about the soil around that? Is that gonna be a hazardous cleanup?
Only if it's contaminated. I mean, I'm sure they've tested it. I mean, by law, they have to test the ground around it, so. And I've never heard anybody saying it's contaminated, so. And if it is, then all it is they have to remove the contaminated soil. We have the equipment to do that. We just have to pay to put it someplace so they air it out, so it goes back to normals.
They air it out and do it out.
So,
They burn it, don't they burn it?
someplace they'll, if it's
Yeah.
heavily oil, they'll burn it, so.
You can't burn the dirt, but you can burn the oil that's seeped into it. All right?
I've got patches that'll fix that.
So
Yes.
so for this warrant, John, you're just going to present the figure, or when will the figure be available, or what?
End of this week,
Okay, so then that's, all
okay?
We'll just put it as a warrant, let people vote for it. They say no, say no.
right. Well, no, but I mean, we need to, for the budget committee,
Right.
to
Yeah.
that's all.
Alright, that's true.
For as long as we've waited for that town hall to be finished, I hate to wait another 6 or 8 years for a beautiful building and a kitchen that dates back to the 40s or 50s that is way too big for what's needed there. Okay?
Okay, I asked this last meeting, have you done a water test? Because you had said nothing had changed with the water, yet I know that when we had the mamas group there, kids were not allowed to use the water, we weren't allowed to drink the water or cook with the water. I'd hate to see a kitchen done with no water.
2 years ago, we had, it was 2 or 3 years ago,
Yeah.
we had both these facilities tested. And they both came back cleared to use. But you know something, you're right, I don't think we should just take that. Because if you had a problem once, now it's gone, could it return? Who knows, unless you test it, you don't know. Yeah.
Test
So
it periodically,
we should make it every other year.
find out what
And it
the
don't cost
water,
that much to do it.
find out what water specialists recommend for periodic testing.
All right.
We can figure that out and do it. I get it. That's probably a smart move. I won't drink either.
Well, We don't either. no, for
So-
years we were told not to, not even to
Yeah.
wash
Yeah.
your
Then
dishes.
it came out clean.
Well, washing dishes, you know, with hot water.
Well, we
you're
would
fine,
wash
but-
them there and then we would wash them again when we
Yeah,
got
I
home,
know.
so.
So,
I didn't think the septic or the well had been redone over there.
no, and the septic has not. That chamber is the same as it's always been, so.
Okay.
But, yeah. We just pump it more often. We have to.
Do we know who we use for that? I don't think it's been done since I've been here.
Septic over there?
Who does the water
Oh,
Forest?
yeah, you have,
Forest pump?
anybody that does well work and stuff, they will do it for you, but you can recall the state of New Hampshire, they'll send you the bottles and stuff like that. And what you do is you have to let the water run for half an hour, then you take your sample, you cap it, and you have to send it right up immediately.
I'll look
The
into
reason I know that is Tammy has to do it for a daycare license, okay? And we don't even mail it, we just drive up to Concord, drop it off, so it's a little bit quicker. So, it's not that big of a deal, we'll take care of it.
While we're talking about warrant articles, I'd like to remind everyone that there is $100,000 that's been appropriated over 2 years to repave the parking area. Alright, so it's still not been done because they haven't finished working on the building. But I'm looking forward to this coming summer when they will repave that. Okay. But the money is still there, so imagine the building finished, kitchen finished, and the parking lot finished. Okay? We've waited a good long while for that. Upstairs is
If we
done.
had
by the way.
$100,000 saving for this while, there's gotten a lot of interest in the.
Not much interest we're getting. But upstairs is all done. They've taken out all the staging that's up there. Okay? There's still some exterior work. Floor has to be sanded in the main part.
Have we picked a dedication for the report?
Yes.
Road agent, Rick Washburn. Rick's at the
Which road?
point where he's almost at time to be able to retire.
Didn't you say not to pick anybody?
What?
Didn't you say not to pick anybody? Wasn't that,
I think that was.
oh, the memorial.
Oh, whether they're alive or not.
Yeah.
So,
No.
so basically, the front of the book is going to be the picture of a sunrise or sunset over Sunrise Lake. Okay, so a local person took the picture and posted it, so we took it and used that. And the dedication for Rick. I mean, Rick's been here for 20 some odd years, and you know, it's nice to recognize him. He's done a good job for this town for a lot of years. So, he knows these roads intimately. They're his babies, you know. So.
I had made a suggestion also, Rick is a very good one, I do hardly approve of that, but I'd also mentioned John Mamone has done an awful lot for this town, especially now that he's leaving. Maybe
He's left.
Well,
left.
leaving what?
He's moved out of town.
Right, but he's still doing the
He's still a
job.
code enforcement
And
officer.
can continue to be the
Yeah, I
code
understand.
enforcement. I
At
don't know
some
if he's
point,
going to, but.
At some point, I'd like to see something to make.
I agree, another name we should be putting out there is John Mullins, because John does a lot, state rep like that, all the work he's done over there on his own time, building those cabinets and making sure things are getting done. I mean, it's a big effort, it's a big job, you know, and he's on top of it, so.
Speaking of how much, so few people have done so much for the town, I've heard some people mention that they might be interested in positions within the town, so has anybody gotten in touch with Laura or? I'll get after him again.
Tell me run for his money. Next year. No, any questions on this? I mean, you know.
So
I
am
guess
I to understand, you guys have not voted on this yet?
the last one, well, what we do is the deliberative session is where we're gonna have everybody come in and talk, we're gonna talk about the budget and the warrant articles at that point. And at that point, the public has a right to make adjustments to this.
She's trying to find out.
But what
if
about the
we were-
budget? Because John told us that you guys did vote, and that is why.
They don't vote on these if they weren't,
Said that
unless they're
to me, didn't
petitioned,
I asked one
they
thing.
wouldn't be
I don't
here.
think John
They
understood
do
it.
Because
No, not the warrant
The
articles.
recommended.
Just
The
the
budget.
budget.
I mean, you vote.
usually it's after the public hearing.
Register a car or something?
No, I'm searching for an address and I have no signal on my phone.
What are you looking for?
What you looking for?
I'm going to buy a car here and the person said me that I need to go to Irving Station.
Irving Station, oh, okay, so you need to
Oh, there's
go.
two of them, wait a minute.
Oh, Irving and Union? Wakefield, or?
Farmington?
Route 11, Route 16.
Where were you going to buy the car, in Middleton or Farmington?
In Middleton.
Alright, so you're probably going to the Irving and Union, that would be my guess.
Yeah.
So,
Uh,
you're right here in the building, so if you go out,
if anyone can I get a call from anyone's phone? Maybe I have no sign
Oh, I
here.
Do you
don't
know-
know signal.
Are you meeting them at the Irving or?
Yeah, in Irving I need to get a call. get the call.
Okay.
Unless they were petitioned, they wouldn't be on here unless the board recommends them.
No, I'm talking about like the regular line item.
With the line
budget.
item budget, they'll discuss it in public
where you
hearing,
are.
we'll go line by line.
This is
Right,
where
but
you
that's
But
already
to put in
Goes
their
around this way.
input, then after they can
Down
make
here
changes
is
or they can leave it
153.
alone.
Right now, we're recommending,
If you come down
as
this
is,
way,
we're done with the numbers for the budget.
come to this, it's a stop sign and a T intersection, turn left.
But that is what
On
he
the
said,
bottom,
because
you
I
have
asked
the
him.
traffic light, and the
So,
urban is over
what
here.
are we
Oh,
recommending against, or, I mean, if the
Okay,
numbers
so
can
you
float
take
around,
our
so you
parking
take
lot.
our numbers that we're recommending,
Right.
okay?
Yeah, we're
And you
here.
go down line by line, however you wanna do it.
Turn
And if
right.
you don't think that's what you want as
You have
a
a
group in
police
the budget
station is
committee,
behind
you
us.
can recommend
Fire
your
station's
changes
over
to the
here.
budget.
we've done that, but I'm wondering
So
if
go out
you
of the
change
parking
your
lot,
numbers, and we've
come
already
right
said
down
we
the street,
recommend
curves
what
all
you
the way
recommend,
around.
and you change your numbers,
Take
and
a
we don't
left.
wanna
Right,
recommend
that-
So,
that.
Doesn't matter.
Actually,
Doesn't
there's
matter.
one more
Go
turn,
back?
sorry.
Yeah.
Come down.
Oh, okay.
Because nothing's set in
Down
stone
here.
until we do the
Right.
There's
delivery.
another T intersection, that's right, there's another T intersection
I
here.
don't know, like,
Plans
the
to
whole
change
process.
those.
I don't think they get,
So-
they
Right.
came to the meeting,
Uh-huh.
we
Left.
ended up making our
Left.
recommended changes
Yeah.
after the department submitted it.
And they have,
And they, I don't think they've gotten that.
Thank you.
No, we
Or if
had
they
that
have,
last week. And we
then that's
went
what we're
through
staying
it.
with, other than these.
And that's what we went through, and so
Right
we
there,
came up in,
Like
as
the
the
laser guy in the
board
missile.
came back and said, we recommend all the changes, or we recommend all the numbers that are up there except for the salaries, we want, 3%? 3%, I have.
If you knocked it down to 2.
No, so say, I think my, 3% of the 2017 2017 salary. That's what we want, because when we went through it, we were looking at, it said in process was supposed to be a 5% increase on the salary, so some of the lines were more than 5%. And we weren't aware where the base numbers were coming from to come up with the new salary numbers. Because
Okay.
if they weren't 2017 budget approved numbers times 5%. Well, some lines were,
Yes.
but they were more often than not, they weren't, and so we didn't know it, so we as a board.
So you wanna make it the pursuant on the, first part of 2017? Cause we made these adjustments in the first of, what, July?
There were
First of June.
There were
No,
adjustments,
some
there were
of them were done
adjustments in January,
January
there
and
were
April.
adjustments done in,
Okay,
I guess
but that was
April.
the police department that we were working on, and then the highway department, we done it all one fell swoop in the first, we done it prior, but not to be effective till June 1st,
right.
okay? So if you wanna make that 3%, whatever the number is, from January to May numbers, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that would be before that base was changed.
Yeah, so so I guess maybe I just need to
Am I
set.
But what
Confusing
what we asked for was what percent increase, because the townspeople voted in March for a 2% increase.
Right.
These are way over 5%. Some of them are up to 20%, and we would ask for what, a line, this, not the person's name, but like the position that got increased
But
and
that's
how
all,
much did they
if
get.
you want that, that's all public
We-
knowledge.
we
You
did
have
ask. We asked in our last meeting.
that. But if you, did you know about it? So unless,
Well, that's John's takeaway.
well,
No, I'm just saying,
unfortunately for you guys, but that's public knowledge, you're allowed to have that
Pretty sure
information.
nobody got 20% though.
For
I
this,
can probably pull up a document, there's no way that somebody got 20%.
no, not,
The new
well,
figures
from the
look
old
like-
numbers,
right, so if we
to
were
the
taking
new
the 2017
Yeah, that's
and
what
we
we
were
went up.
going to the 2018 proposed, they were ones that were pretty high, it wasn't 5%, it was, it might not have been quite 20, but it was high, it was like, say, 15%. And it's like, well, if you're only proposing a 5% increase, how are we getting from here to here, and that's 15%?
Well,
And that's when it became to light that there was some
recalibration.
recalibration of
the
salaries.
base, no, the base wage is what these people, it wasn't salaries, we changed the base of what these job descriptions were. So, just a dump truck driver, if his base was say 14, we may have made it 50, because that would be the average of all the places in the area that pay that kind of money. Okay? Because everybody says that, they go back to towns of our size. Well, there's only a couple towns of our size, and then way up in northern New Hampshire. Okay? If we're gonna lose somebody, we're gonna lose them to the surrounding area, for the most part. So that's the numbers we went through, with those people, the surrounding area. what do you pay these guys? What do you pay those guys? And we took the book that the state comes out with, and these guys are now probably midway to 2014 recommendations. So that's what, so we brought that up a little bit, so now to try to get them back to where everybody else should be in the area, okay? We figure 5%, 5%, 5%, and over a 10-year period, they will eventually catch up to where everybody else in the area is. It just takes a long time to get there instead of trying to do it one big fell swoop, you know? So,
But still, they did get 2 raises. They got the one from
they
the
got
town
the 2%,
meeting.
and then we adjusted the base, and when whoever qualified in that base, they got that adjusted, yes.
Yes, but from our end, all we have are the 2017 numbers in
right,
stone,
and
and
you-
then what you're proposing,
Right,
which is
and you
way
should
more
have
than
that
5%.
information. I have no problem with that. I mean, can we make sure they get it?
So,
Please.
so my question, I guess, Joe, is, when you say you propose the board of selectmen are proposing a 5% increase, that's a 5% increase across the board. That's not to say, and we kind of talked about this because we weren't really clear on it, is to say, oh, because I thought we had talked, so I'll just kind of go back and see. So our understanding is it's 5% across the board to all employees.
Right.
But I thought we had discussed prior to, I think I might have asked you, is I thought that there was some type of evaluation system, meaning, so if you're not performing to what your, your boss thinks you are, you're not gonna get potentially 5%, you're only gonna get, say, 2% or something. Am I misunderstanding that?
No, we just implemented last year a deal with the department heads evaluate their employees,
Right,
okay, and make their recommendations.
Okay.
Okay? It's like Chief Logic, he has no officer coming in. I don't see your credentials that, in this being up to par, so coming forward, you need to take these classes, okay? When you get to meet the demands like that, then that puts them in the range for that merit increase if they earned it, okay? Say he gives them 4 classes, they done 2, well, should you get a 4%? No, I'll give you a 2. You didn't complete what you're supposed to do.
which is a
So,
part of that potential
Evaluation,
5%.
right,
Which is a 10.
right, and I'm just using the 4 as a
No,
number.
no,
to
but
make
I'm
it
just
even.
saying, which is a
No.
part of the 5%.
Right.
So you can get up to 5%, but you're not
Right.
guaranteed to get the 5%.
5%, exactly.
Okay.
'Cause it was
So you have, so
across
you
the
have,
board.
so the
So
next-
could
It's
somebody-
always been across the board, this is actually new.
So with that,
Like, it
so
doesn't
could
happen.
somebody get 7%?
and somebody get 0.
So, cause you have a pool of money.
Right.
That may, okay, so
And it
that's
doesn't matter how
what we
you-
thought, and
Yeah.
that's not
It's
what.
not how you disperse it, is up to the department head for his department, okay?
Okay.
So you have an underachiever, and they're borderline whether they should be here or not, you're not gonna give them 5%,
Right.
okay? You're gonna take that money, maybe give him 2%, 2.5%, and take the other 2.5% and give it to somebody who's like, yeah, he's a big player, he deserves it, he's earning it.
Okay.
That's what he should do.
And that's the way I understood it
So
to
then it
be,
can
but-
be over 5%. is what
Yeah,
you're
because it's a
saying.
pool of money, what you vote on is basically a pool of money, and it's up to them, and their evaluation should already say, okay, listen, look, I feel that you've done this, but you need to do more of this, I've asked you to do it, you haven't done it, okay? I can't give you the full 5% because you haven't been doing what I need you to do. But that money's sitting there, okay? So say you give somebody out of a 5 or 2.5, but you have another guy who's like, never calls out sick, every time there's a problem, he's the first one in. First guy to come in and plow, get his truck ready, and get out on the road and get going, maintains his truck, doesn't cost the town money. Whatever it takes to meet that criteria, he can say, listen, you're my guy, I can give you another 2.5%. It's gonna change nothing on the budget, other than that guy's gonna be taken care of.
Right, so.
And recognize what he's
So
doing.
the bottom line is it's 5% of what was the salary budget last year, so say it's $100,000, so now they're gonna be like,
105.
105, so they got $5,000. However they wanna spread that across
It's up to Rick.
people's salaries.
Or
So somebody
Bill.
might get, $1,000, somebody might get $200, somebody, you know what I mean? But in the end, they get to 5,000, whether somebody gets 10%, whether somebody gets nothing, somebody gets, so.
I understand
which-
what you're saying,
no,
but it's not, I
but
think
that's
at a
not-
town meeting, you cannot say it's 5% across the board, because
Right.
that means I'm getting it no matter what.
Well, see, and
I am.
you're right,
And you
because
can't
I mean,
say-
It's been like that for
You
years.
can't say it's capped at that either, because you just told me you could take her 4% and give it to me,
So
which would be
it
9.
needs to be presented as it's 5% of the previous year's
budget.
budget.
Right, and
And
how is
then-
this, it is
yes.
dispersed by the department head, and then in turn,
So you
the 3 of us take the department head and take care of their evaluation.
There's only 2 departments, really,
Right.
your
Right.
police and your highway.
Right, but I mean, it just needs to be, I mean, it just needs, so, I think I had one.
And Laura is basically, she works for us. Elected, treasurer's elected, you get John Mamone and.
So if you
well,
vote
I mean, that's-
5% across the board, they're pretty much guaranteed to get their 5%. It's 5% because really there's no department. It's them. The only department you have is the police and highway, am I correct?
Right.
That really does the evaluation and, I mean, the board evaluates all the employees.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, your police and your highway,
Right.
they're the ones that'll pretty much divvy it up. And maybe your fire department, I don't, usually he does,
But the
everybody gets whatever.
5% is 5% for that particular department, they're not taking from another department.
No,
Well, I'm looking at the figures for the highway department, and where the road agent's salary is 58,962 recommended, 5% would have been 54,421. For the equipment operator, it's listed as 43,680, it should have, at 1.05%,
That's what
would
we're
have been
talking about.
38,474.
Readjusted.
They were readjusted in June.
Okay, so it's not 5% on the,
That's what the, that's
where we
what the
were.
budget committee, that's what the
Yeah.
budget committee is
It's
recommending,
5% on
is
the
5%
adjusted
of
amount.
this
The board,
number.
Yeah.
okay.
But
they're
Which would have been
recommending-
your numbers down there, because these numbers, as far as we were concerned, came out of thin air.
Right, we didn't know where the five, and like, cause this times 5% doesn't get you here, you know,
Yes.
like, or 100,
And they're
and
way
like,
over.
we were trying to
So
figure out
they're
where
recommending
those
5% of the
numbers were
adjusted, you're
Yes.
recommending 5% of.
so January
Yes.
to May 31st,
Right.
their salary and the 2% was what they got, okay? Retroactive to the January 1st. Because March, we had to make it retroactive.
Right,
So they got that wage all the way up until June 1st.
that was the 2%,
That was 2%.
right,
Okay? So from June 1st, when we changed the base rates for everybody, that's where you're gonna see that increase come through, okay? So,
alright, wait a minute, I'm gonna make sure I heard that right. So when the town voted 2% increase, and that went into effect after the vote, it was retro back to, so that, what's that
January
happen?
1st.
That's
January 1st.
in March, does that happen in March, so
Right.
March back to January
right,
1st?
we have to pay,
Then, right, no, and I get that, I understand that. And then come June, when they changed the base salaries, that base salary changed as of that date, there was no, there was.
Retroactive, no, nothing
Okay,
retroactive.
Okay, no, that's.
That was discussed, that was
Alright,
kind
no,
of,
but I just wanna make sure
that,
that's
no,
what
that was
right.
discussed and we said
I wanted
absolutely
to
not.
make-
It has to
No,
be-
I don't even think we discussed that part, because we could not get past
Right.
those numbers.
Do you understand it better now?
I do, but
Well,
I
right,
still would like to
still
see
didn't know
it
the
in.
numbers. when we
And
What
said
there
it
wasn't
was-
like a specific percentage that each person got, it was based on the study.
We
So
could
like
tell
some
that.
people got like $2, some people got 50 cents.
And that
I
is
mean,
why,
it ended.
if you do those numbers, that highway department, just the highway department, goes from 13 to 20%. I did it out myself. They're crazy.
If you took the
It didn't make any sense.
2017 budget number to come up to the 2018 proposed, it's like a 20%.
Yeah.
But you're talking overall
Yeah,
number,
salaries.
but not everybody get that. That's the same thing I always,
No, it wasn't across the board, it was
right, it was divvied
depending
up.
on your,
so.
whatever
I
job
can't tell
you
you
did.
exactly what percentage each person has.
Right.
'Cause I
No,
had to do
so
the
that was
study.
just, that was a big discussion.
It was long, yeah.
Yeah, I,
We
know
were
something.
trying to
I really
figure out
thought, I
where-
thought John understood it better and like, yeah, because I wanted to come to meetings, but I can't, because you can't have two selectmen in there.
Oh, right, yes.
And I wanted to, like, yeah, and he's the liaison, so I can't step on his toes to go and do that, because it's not fair for me to do that, okay?
He tried, I will
No.
give it to him, we were coming at him like,
Well,
because
he's
the
new,
numbers
you guys
just
are
did
new
not
as well,
add
so
up.
there's gonna be a little bit of a, like, miscommunication or misunderstandings and like that, but this is what this is for, so, so we clear everything up for you, because I don't want you to be, like, what's going on here?
Right.
You need to know all the numbers, so.
Right, no, and we didn't, like I said, we didn't have any issues with any of the, you know, I mean, we discussed.
You shouldn't
It was
need what
just-
you're talking about.
Right, but it was just kind of like, we were trying to figure out, I'm like, you
You're
know,
gonna
I
get
mean, I
these
can
same
do
questions
math.
thrown at you at the deliberative
And that's what we
sessions.
said, this is gonna come up at town meeting.
You're gonna get these same questions
Oh,
thrown
yeah.
at you at the deliberative, so there should be a clear, concise.
Yeah, we'll have more numbers for that, so if people wanna know, we can tell you specifically numbers, and you guys should have the numbers ahead of time as well, so,
I would offer some caution. If the budget committee looks at the salary at the beginning of the year after a 2% raise, okay, before they were adjusted, and then you recommend for 2018 a 2% raise, and make sure that that is still
I brought that up to John, I
Above
said,
or-
wouldn't that cut people, you'd have to
Yeah.
take it away from them.
Yeah, I'd be
So they need to
concerned
know
about
what the
it.
adjusted figures are so
Right.
they could adjust theirs.
It should not be.
Right, no, I agree,
Reduced.
yes.
Okay.
Right, I would agree. But, I mean, as far, and get clarity on the whole, across the board.
I will send you
because-
like, this person, well, I want, because you said you don't want names or whatever, I'll say this position made this much, now he's making that much an hour, and you guys can calculate it out.
I was
So
gonna
I
how
didn't
I
know
got
if
the
names
numbers.
was like, you know,
It's all public information.
It really
So
is.
I mean, I think it's just a job, like a job class, but I mean, I know people in different job classes could, people in the same job class could be making a different,
Right. See, when I used to do it for
Which
the
is
gas
what we
company,
did.
right?
when we done this for the gas company, okay, we would sit there, my boss would say, okay, you get this many employees, this is the salary, total salary, add 5% to that. That's what you have for your budget for next year. How you divvy it up is up to you, Joe. That's part of my job, is to sit down and do those evaluations and stuff like that, and boom, 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 you know? So, I mean, the biggest thing is, you don't wanna give somebody who's a non-performer the same raise as a guy who's out there selling. Where's the incentive to do better, you know, or to, you know, help?
so where did the
Okay,
step increases come from?
We did a study from the New Hampshire Municipal 2014.
But where did the money come from?
right, that's what I was
Because we had asked, if you increase these lines, where did the money come from?
Right.
Always remember that the town is a bottom line budget.
We
So we can take it from the government, we can take it from any place we want and put it there to make those adjustments, okay? So,
So we cut corners basically.
we cut
No, no,
corners
so-
to make it work.
So,
So we
okay,
wouldn't go
so
over.
you, okay, I just, so that I understand this, so on,
We
say,
should
on the
have invited
highway,
everybody.
on the highway department, in order to change those salaries, did you take within the highway department, or you took from another, you?
We
take-
stayed within the highway department
Okay.
up until the end of the budget season. And if you look at Rick, he may have went over a little bit on his budget. So basically, because he went over, and he didn't go by, you're only allowed to go by 10%. Each department is, they have to be very careful, okay? But by the law, they're allowed to go over 10% of their budget. So, he was a little bit over, so, but, the police department came in under budget, so a little bit of that money they saved went towards that overage that Rick had. So, when you get to the bottom line, the very bottom, all the stuff that the town takes care of, okay? That number was still below 100%,
Okay,
even with all these
Can I
changes.
just tell you, it was presented to us that the bottom line budget, if you have extra money, you can give Joe over here some extra money, and
No,
that's why it wasn't sitting well. We
I-
had a
let me
town
tell you
that
something.
voted for
This-
2%, and
there's
it
a
was
lot of
just
this.
handed out.
There are people who learn this stuff the wrong way, okay? And if you don't spend the money willy-nilly because it's there, okay? And there's a mindset that's been going on in Milton for a long time, because every time somebody wants something, it's cut or it's no, don't get this, you don't get that. So that has created a culture of spend it because you're never gonna get it again, all right? We're changing that, the concept of what they're supposed to be doing that way. And for the most part, everybody has gotten it, okay? So, yeah, there's a learning curve for some of these guys that don't know how to do budgets. If they come in as they not knowing what they're supposed to do, this is all new to them as well, okay? But at the same token, don't spend it because there's a few dollars left there, like that. And I think it shows that we have done that, because if you're at 100% like that, we turn in, you know, at 92, we get the town back in 8%. And we still done all these changes, we've done this other stuff, so the money's there. So, and just for a little bit of history, okay, we've gone back 11 years. We've taken what was voted on in town meeting versus what Blashon and Couquet, who did our books at the end of the year, has told us what we closed our books at legally, okay? And over the past 11 years, we have saved the town, not just us, but previous board of selectmen, over $88,000. We've had a few years that's slightly over, for the most part, it's been under, okay? Now, from 2005 to 2016, say the budget was $1 million, now it's $1.8 million. $800,000 a lot of money, okay? That's a 4.9% increase over 11 years, okay? And if you sit there and really drill down a little bit more on that, a lot of the stuff that we had no choice in, like Primax, health insurances, all that kind of stuff that goes out that we just, here's your number, we didn't take that number out. I think if we take that number out of that 4.9%, you're gonna find that the town is operating this like that at less than 3%. for over 11 years. And I challenge anybody to go out there and find any other town that's done that, and still have what we have. I think we're doing it right, okay? May not agree for every little thing that we do, but overall, we're doing it the right way. So, we take care of our people, take care of our equipment, everything.
Okay,
And
one more
most of your
question.
complaints come from people that don't attend the meetings.
Not exactly, you know, so,
Okay, one more question.
go for it.
Oh,
No, this is, I want you to learn this stuff. I
He's
mean,
gonna
you're on the
be
budget
happy when we
committee. I
leave.
mean,
oh, I come every week, so Joe, I don't really miss.
no, it's good stuff, I like it.
So the other question I have, and I don't know if this comes up, and if this comes up in the salary line or not, is, and maybe I'm misunderstanding, is there a bonus paid out each year to employees during the year?
There's a longevity.
Okay, yes,
Yeah.
so what line, is that in the salary line?
No, it has its own line.
Okay,
It's called longevity, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. In each department, Laura?
Nope, it's
All
a government
employees.
line.
The government
Oh.
line, that's all employees who
Under-
work here.
Okay.
You don't get them for the first 5 years, then at 5 years you get a certain amount, then, but,
Oh, so
It's
this,
under admin.
okay, so this was the other question I think we talked about is, so if you have a newly hired employee, are they going to get, I guess the question is, and this is all, I guess, subjective to the the boss or whatever, so someone gets hired in September, are we gonna give them a raise?
well, for 6 months, if they give them, if you say 5, they might give them 2.5 to make it fair.
But that was the thing is, I think we talked about it like.
Because it's retroactive to January 1st.
Well, no, it would be retro to, like, so if they got, it would be when they vote in March.
It goes back to January 1st.
Right, but I mean, if the person got hired in September of last
Well,
year.
we said, well, they
No.
even be past 90 days like, to get
No.
a raise.
Right, so that was one of the questions is there, I'm assuming there's some guidelines, but
So.
we didn't, John wasn't clear on what maybe those guidelines were.
That's
or
in the
whatever,
policy
so-
manual.
Right,
So.
well, I mean, so it was like, cause we were like, oh, things get.
I haven't read that.
It was like, so there were just a couple of those
Yeah.
questions, kind of like, oh, what.
Good question. I mean, I take it for granted, I know what's going on like that, and everybody else does. I mean,
So,
I don't realize how people don't know that information. It's like, okay, no, you guys are new, you need to know it, so.
Well, most of us are new on the budget committee,
Yeah.
so, we're looking at numbers.
Everybody, isn't it?
I think
I can only do
5.6.
math that is solid facts. If we can't ask anybody, then we're kind of like,
No, that's.
Doesn't
what
make
I'm
sense.
like, hey, Laura,
I told you, you emailed me, I'll answer all your
I
questions.
know, but I'm like,
Couple of comments about these proposed warrant articles. All of them, except the one about the figure amount for the kitchen at the old town hall, have all been approved by the selectmen, so you can work on these as a budget committee, and either say you approve them or you don't.
right, and I think we just
No.
need to formally have enough to do that.
Okay,
And then,
but just-
but I just need, of course, we need to be aware of dates that we need to make sure we meet
Right.
deadlines and,
You do not have to wait for any further recommendation
no,
from
right,
us,
correct,
except the last one. I gotta wait till the end of the week to get estimates,
right.
so I can come up with a dollar amount, at least a rough dollar amount.
And you can make adjustments after public hearing if it's something that we spoke about. So if we do line by line, pretty much it's all of it. But you can meet one more time after public hearing to finalize your numbers.
see, we didn't know that. We kind of thought it was in stone
Was
the
it,
other
you
night.
thought, no, you still have one more
Public
opportunity?
hearing is so you can get public input to make the right numbers. Yeah.
It's a big process, but I can tell you right now, this is a lot more streamlined than it was like 4 years ago.
Well, I'm sure it is, but I think the part of it is not, the dates thing, the dates are what making me nervous, with like, I don't know, I need to see them all in front
You
of me.
need to be
because-
posting the public hearing, I can tell you that.
Yeah, I'll have to talk
Yeah,
to the
you have to.
chair about that.
Because when you guys post a
Right.
public meeting, Selectmen don't.
Right,
We attend it.
right.
Okay, then what about communication? Because I can tell you, me and Roxanne are pretty much the most vocal. And we're not the chair or the vice chair of the budget committee.
I don't understand what you're asking.
Well, the chairman and vice chairman are supposed to be posting all
She
this
sent
stuff.
out an email, I was the only one that responded to
Oh,
her.
okay.
So how do
Right.
we go about,
I drive the communication.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't necessarily know that that's the, job.
proper way,
the
right.
description under the secretary's position.
It's not standard protocol.
No.
So,
Roxanne, tag, you're it.
yeah, well, pretty much, yeah, I mean, so this is why I'm like, So, I mean, cause I sent out an email, and that's why I said Tracy's the only one who responded, I'm like, well, other people on that email, cause maybe cause I think I was sending it from my phone, I'm like, I'm not always the best with my phone email, and she goes, no, we went to everybody, I'm like, okay, cause you're the only one who responded, cause I said, we're gonna get the warrant articles tonight, we should probably post that we need to meet this week to go over the warrant articles. I said, and of course now it's too late to meet tomorrow night because you have to post 24 hours beforehand. And the only one that said that they could meet this week was Tracy. And so I'm like, okay.
How many on the board? 5?
5.
We need 3.
Right. So me, you, and Bonnie.
Can do Wednesday.
No, because the
No,
school
you got
and
8.
there's 8, because the school, the
Right.
village district,
Right.
and the selectmen.
Right.
So that's 8, so you
Okay,
need at
so we
least.
get Andrea. She'll come. So we need Bonnie, you, and yourself.
I face the same
What
problem.
do you mean we need 5?
Cause you have 8 members,
But we have 5 board members and then their
but they're
reps.
considered not
So
voting
4 members, because Andrea was there,
That's
but
half,
she did
isn't
not vote the
Well,
You
she
don't
no,
have
she-
majority
no,
vote.
She didn't vote on the, she didn't vote on the school stuff because she's on the school board, so she can't vote on, she couldn't, and that's my understanding, she
She
can't
has
vote.
to abstain from it.
Right, she couldn't vote on the school board budget because she's on the school board, but she votes on everything else. that
Did she
we-
vote on the town?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Right,
John
yeah.
actually could not vote on the town stuff, because he has
And we
input
wouldn't
on
have had
it. So he
enough,
has to
right?
abstain from it.
No, we did, we had enough.
You have to have members, but it
Oh,
doesn't mean
Daisy,
you have
yeah.
voting members, you have to have members present,
Right.
at least 5.
Yeah.
And they're considered members because they can vote on your budget.
Now, if you were voting on the town budget and you only had 5 people, and one's John Cleary, you don't have a majority vote, so you couldn't vote on that because he
Yeah,
has
I
to
didn't even
abstain
know
from it.
that, honestly.
No, we would.
I,
Are you sure
know,
about that? I
yeah.
don't think that's right.
No,
Because
I,
it's still members present,
right,
because you can abstain, you can not agree and, not
Right.
vote.
because we had, let's see, there was myself, there was Dave, Andrea, Bonnie, Tracy, and John.
So you have enough people.
Yeah, and so, so we got through so we got through that, but yes, Andrea did not vote on the school stuff, and I understood that because she's on the school board.
You folks have the book about budgeting?
No.
No, but there was a nice workshop in September that was offered by the state that would have been probably really good to go to.
We had the same people from the state, like, make that book, come over and do a training for everybody in this town, that had anything to do with budget committee and all that.
Could I go get that book?
I'd give it to them, yeah, we can find a couple of them, I mean, nothing really changed for the most part, it's still the basics of it, John, you might wanna bring the plans for the kitchen in too,
Yeah. Right there.
but,
Thank you.
no, I mean,
It's
it's
not
just
like
bad you guys don't have.
I mean, but it's just, to me.
It's a
We've
lot
kind
of-
of been fumbling since
There's some-
May.
It's a lot of fun when you
Yeah,
get into
mine
it.
fell on,
you know,
so, been home alone all day.
So, actually, we'll talk afterward and see a date, because I'll throw it out there and I'm gonna tell them, we're gonna post this as a public.
It's state law, you guys have to do
The board
certain things in
recommended
it.
the 31st, so that
January
gives you a
31st?
week to get me your final budget.
January 31st, public hearing.
I mean, it's not too far from now, today's
See, we
27th.
were-
No, it isn't.
We were told, I thought we were told February.
If you do it the 7th, then you get a week to review and finalize your budget, and that gives me 2 days to get it through DRA into print. To have it available
And
by
then-
the 6th, that's.
and that's
no,
on
I
top of
don't
everything
have
else
to-
down, do the same
But
thing.
Jan-
so.
but if we have it on January 31st, we have to have it posted 7 days, correct? So we have to have it posted by Thursday,
This week.
yeah, so.
Because we're already down Dave, he won't be back till February.
Right, yeah, Dave is, he's not available until like February.
He's out of the picture then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
He's
what
the
about
coach,
Mike Joy,
he's
what
the-
about Bonnie, and
Well, Mike Joy,
I know he works and stuff like that, but he works 10-hour shift. Unless he picks up a few other, I mean, I don't know, I mean, the problem is you got budget committee, and this is just me as a taxpayer, not as a selectman telling you what to do, but, if they can't do the job, they need to step down so you find somebody who can.
Right. Well, that's fine.
Well, I
he'll
know
be
it's
in the
tough,
same
I know
boat
it's
as
tough to
you were
find
last
people.
year.
Unless
I
you
know.
get written in somehow, Joe, did you write? I don't know. Did
I
that?
would never admit to that.
We were talking about it at the meeting the other night, we're like, oh, yeah, because Amy goes, yeah, I did counting, she goes, I'm pretty sure I read like one for Tracy, one for you, and one for Barney.
They were all pretty much oneers.
And I'm like, I'm pretty sure Joe Bailey wrote my name in.
No.
Have that conversation with you? I was like, huh. Yeah, and then it was like, when people's terms expire, because that to us as well.
I just researched that for the book, so that's how I knew those dates.
I got my name on these, so you're welcome to borrow them. Basic law of budgeting.
I'll see if I can find one to give to you.
Let's see. Gross basis budgeting, warrant notice, principal amendments, appropriations when they lapse, 10% rule. You know about the 10% rule? Yeah.
And that's something you guys have to keep track of at town meetings, because as we vote on this stuff like that, okay, if people add money to it, you can't go over 10% of what.
Of your overall, and it'll tell you on the form that I print out after you give me your budget. It calculates that for you. We just gotta keep track of town meeting, I do too, I keep track on the site as well.
Okay, I can be mad, but, you know, under pressure.
We're nominating Roxanne to speak to the other two won't show up.
I mean, you can pretty much at the beginning look at the two budgets if it's not even 10% difference. I mean, you'll know there, unless they change something dramatically at town meeting,
Right.
because you'll know.
Right.
The ex officio officers, not you folks, it's the ones that are not elected.
That would be John, this is
I would say
Selectman.
John and, John,
Janet.
Janet, and Andrea.
Right.
I'm gonna call them ex officios. The ex officio members are voting members
Yes.
of the committee but may not serve as chair.
They have all the powers and rights, I guess.
Okay?
We really, yeah, we called the area last year on that one.
All right. This one deals with a whole bunch of stuff, but included in here is information about the budget committee.
What's your powers and responsibilities? You need to know that too.
I mean, 11 o'clock tonight.
Seriously.
I
I
have
mean,
no idea.
Basically, I mean, the overall just is, you just need to create a different view for the people to see.
Right, yeah.
Different opinion kind of thing, that's really it.
no, we've had budget committee members,
It's, yeah, it's the deadlines that make me.
when I presented, we had budget committee members saying, all our job is to cut and cut. Well, it's not. You gotta find a balance of operating the town, maintaining what you have, looking towards the future of what you need to have, okay? And getting from point A to point B in a very reasonable manner. You know, you can't not run it down. You cannot stop increases if things happen, things break down. You need to be able to do that and take care of the town. That's the overall goal, you know? It's our responsibility to make that happen. But also, it's not, they have places like that, but they don't have budget committees. And something's presented, and that's the only choice you got. I like the idea of a budget committee, as long as it's done proper way. And it's not just about cutting, and cutting. It's being responsible. So,
How many types of budget committees are there? Two. There's elected, which you are, and then there's advisory, which is appointed by the selectmen. In this town, a number of years ago, they voted to have an elected budget committee. That's where we are today. There's been talk from time to time that perhaps an advisory budget committee would be more appropriate. But as we stand right now, up, including in 2 months in March, you folks are it. And you folks are it, as far as I can see, for the foreseeable future. I don't think
One of you
there's
sits at the head table and answers all the questions, so just beware.
Honestly, I don't think Mike or Dave could do that.
That's what I'm saying, I
I
mean,
it
know.
has to be somebody who knows what's going on, obviously. I mean, you don't wanna sit there and look like a budget committee going,
I remember the year that one of the budget committee chairs sat down, she didn't have a piece of paper. She had not even the budget,
no clue.
no clue where the numbers came from, or what's included in the numbers, or, yeah, it does look bad.
Anyway, one of you are welcome to take the books.
I'll find mine, make sure you get it too, so.
Okay. This is, knowing the territory is 2015, but in terms of the budget committee, it hasn't changed, so welcome to.
So much for
Good, we're
getting
good.
out of early tonight.
Huh?
Said so much for getting out of here early tonight.
It's only 7:30, still early. No, I mean, if you got more questions, then this is the time to take care of it, 'cause you gotta get a lot of work ahead of you.
No, I'll just circle back with Laura and say,
Well, you can talk about, like you said, where does the money come from? Just in the executive, just in the first chunk. Like my deputy, I didn't utilize her, so I didn't take time off. So there's like $1,600 right there. Then I do a lot of my own computer website stuff, so I'm saving money there. That's how we we cut
Well,
to save money.
selectman salary.
Yep, John doesn't take one, so
Right.
his sits there.
Right.
And the last couple of years, I don't think the selectmen have gotten an increase at all. Everybody else has, but we did not. I think this last one was 2%, we actually got one. That's the first one I got since I've been here. But I'm not here for doing it for the money either.
Everybody doing this
The
stuff
big,
for the money.
the big.
You gotta find
big money,
another
I mean,
job.
You got math
No,
problems.
the one thing I would like to see us in the future do is put a warrant together on the selectmen getting a stipend for the cell phone. Do a lot of business on my own phone for, like that, we're the only ones who don't get a stipend. How's that fair? Doesn't matter. I mean, it's just something.
What do you
out
mean,
there.
my 40 texts a day is not good? They're
No,
free.
when you get to the 60, I'll start complaining.
If you could cut it back to 25.
No, but it's just the little things like that that could help. I mean, we have paid taxes too, you know, but, you know, it's not always about the money. Just wanna do something decent for the town, so.
I think that sounds good.
Look,
At the
and
moment.
if you guys have any questions and stuff like that, I can't come at your meeting like that. If Laura can't answer a question, call me, I don't care. I mean,
Just
I'm
not on his cell phone.
I'm not complaining about myself, and I don't care, I just, it's just.
Doing duck work somewhere?
I'm right in the middle of a cleaning and they call me back later full of, I get soot going everywhere. So,
It's all that what makes this town great. Everyone.
No, and this, our overall goal, I think, I'm speaking for myself, but I think John and John would agree that, you know, it's not just about, it's about everybody who works here and lives here, you gotta take care of everybody, you know? Some people like it, some people don't, but you know something, the overall goal is to make everybody feel like they're needed, wanted, they're appreciated, and we have to take care of our people, you know?
Now, I wanna point out a difference. You've been there, and certainly you've been there as well. Try going to the school board meeting and have this conversation. We have just spent close to half an hour talking back and forth. It's just what we should be doing. You have questions, we're trying to answer. It's not Joe and I looking at each other and talking and ignoring all of you, okay? So, I'm proud that we see this as a way to talk to each other. And you know, you sat there, it is so frustrating that,
They're not very.
Can I recommend a movie for people? It's called Looking for Superman.
No, that's okay, Joanne, really.
This is one that deals with school boards and school issues and the whole atmosphere of the education community as opposed to the public that they're supposed to serve.
you know, you've been to a lot of their meetings, do you agree? They don't even know you exist.
They have a 15-minute portion at the beginning where you've got 5 minutes to say something.
Right, and when you say
And-
something, their answer is, we'll take it under advisement. There's still no communication back
Worse
and
than that,
forth.
worse than that, they will take it under advisement and then they go on about the meeting as though you never said anything.
Yep,
And heaven forbid you should
Been going on for
interrupt the
years now.
meeting. If you interrupt and say, I have a question about something,
yeah,
we'll get to you after the meeting.
Public
We'll get to you.
public
No
participation.
No public
If there's any questions
participation
for
until
that.
after the meeting.
I like it this way, I mean, we got an issue right now, let's address the issue.
I see it both ways.
So.
I mean, you can have public go crazy and
That's what a moderator and the chair is for,
I
to
understand
control
that.
it.
I see it
If you
both
can't
ways
control
though.
it, they shouldn't be in the chair
I'd like
position.
to stop some historian stories at the school board meeting. I've been to a million of them.
I like how we do it. It's kind of an open concept, but at the same time, we get business done.
Well, one of the reasons that Tony and I love having moved to this town is because it's not just a town, it's a community, and it's like a family. I mean, I don't feel like I'm a stranger,
right.
not maybe related in the sense of true blood relationships or marriage relationships, but I feel like I can ask favors of just about anybody that I've worked and dealt with. And if they ask me a favor, they know that they can get help if it's all within my power to do so. That's what, to me, a town really comes alive with.
Tony,
agree.
you have been known from time to time to stop in our office if one of us is there. Show me where you stop into the school board office. Talk to the school board number.
You get about as far as the door.
Can't find them. You cannot find them where they are. Wednesday nights, once a month. Used to be twice, now it's once a month. So, I'm proud of what we do
You
here.
can find Kelly. I find Kelly all the time.
Maybe at our house, okay?
Well, I have kids in the school, so. Or my next door neighbor.
Oh, if you guys have any more questions, what any about it.
Kelly's not your
I
They
hate to
don't
tell-
talk school
Andrea's my
business.
next door
Oh,
neighbor.
okay, I was just saying.
They don't talk school business.
No, they
I
don't.
know- I know where Kelly lives, so, so.
The biggest thing, you guys got some big dates coming up here pretty quick, so,
So I hear.
yeah.
And your budget needs to be submitted, like, you need to fill in your, in writing, has to be
Like
submitted.
that form right there? Do you have, do I
Uh,
I have this electronically? Did you send
Have a
this?
clean copy.
Maybe.
I gave you mine, but mine's written all over.
Didn't know, I mean electronically, because
Oh,
we need
no,
to
we
fill it
didn't.
in. Because I mean, I'd soon fill it in electronically and submit it
I'll
back
send
to you, than to write it in and give it to you to write in.
Well, it doesn't matter, I gotta put it into a website anyways.
But you still have to
Yeah.
even your own numbers.
But I need it in writing so I know when the number's
Right,
going.
but I just soon have it electronically, so then I don't have to worry about it storing it somewhere, it's on a, it's electronically saved and.
Just double check your numbers before you send it back. Don't add too many zeros and figure where you wanna
Don't
put your
worry,
point zero
you
zero.
probably won't be adding too many.
You've heard of
zeros.
spell check? We have an
Maybe.
auto sum.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that. This is what I do all day, is numbers.
To Laura's credit, that's her office, we're in the other office. If I have a question, she always, I said, no hurry. She's always right there, so willing to help. She stops whatever she's doing, I don't know how you figure out where you were, but she answers my questions and then goes back to her stuff, and I'm sure you would do the same if they had
All day
questions.
long.
Yeah. What a personality, we are blessed.
Don't move that by, John, you want 10%. All right, any more public participation, I guess? Old business, any old business? No? Okay.
Anybody got any ideas what I'm gonna fill a column with tomorrow?
Well, this entire conversation tonight, we put it over.
She already got that from the budget meeting the other night.
Well, now we have some clarification.
So if I come to a budget committee meeting, am I allowed to be there as a?
Sure, you can, you can't vote.
But you can't talk as a board member though, you can't answer the questions. Cause you shouldn't, cause that's, as a board member, you have those answers.
It's
You
kind
have
of
to wear a disguise.
it's a waste of
And he
time.
tag out and then.
Tag team.
Did John leave the room?
I don't know if
Did John
that's-
answer?
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, because you can't discuss business. When two of you are together, you
Right.
cannot discuss
Well,
Because
business
that's,
Posted as a
that's
meeting.
quorum.
together.
That
Right,
goes-
but if you post it, he
As a
knows ahead of
board
time,
meeting?
right, he knows he's gonna be
Yeah, it
there.
has to be a posted board meeting.
24-hour notice.
The front door says 8 to 5, we ought to make that 8 to 10. That covers them all, except Saturdays and Sundays.
All right.
Would it be ethical for the town to put that the Middleton News is printed in the Granite News, Granite State newspaper?
I'm not understanding your question.
On your town website, would it be ethical for you to make a notice on there that the Middleton News column is available in the Granite State?
Yeah.
That's what it's for, it's a public
I was hoping that
information.
there'd be an online link, but I can't find one.
They,
So I was just gonna link it to the website.
I wish they could, but the way it's set up is you have to subscribe to the newspaper and have a password to actually view any
Oh,
of
yeah, that's how you get paid for it,
Right.
so.
Considering
Free
the
articles.
the amount of news that they cover and all that,
Well, you know, it wouldn't be so bad if they had, like, say, had a free link to something 2 weeks ago.
Right, like old ones.
It's old news, but
Well,
maybe
it
some
amazes-
current news for somebody who lives here.
it
But even
amazes
a
me
link-
that the,
But even a link to the paper, and then, I mean, kinda like Austin, all their articles are locked. So you can only read like the first sentence or whatever, so unless you're, I mean, so that at least would give you a link to get there, and then it's like from there, it's like, well, you need to sign up to where you can see, you can kind of see maybe what the first sentence says, is that, well, maybe I'll go down.
Now, I will suggest it to the editor, because that's, but, you know, if
At
they-
least it gets them in somebody's face versus.
And you never know if they want, if somebody goes on there and sees that something's 2 weeks old like that, they're gonna, maybe I'll subscribe and get this stuff
Well,
currently.
I'm just surprised, I mean, because as far as I know, in this area, the only place that paper is available to purchase is down at the Irving station. And I'd say that probably 95% of the people in town don't even know that paper exists, let alone that there's a Middleton News article in it.
You know, I already read this book is pretty good reading. In other words, should the selectmen on the budget committee vote on the budget that the board of selectmen has recommended on the budget committee? Yes. Okay, so yeah, John is supposed to vote. You can go and offer your opinion, but you can't vote.
Okay.
Okay? All right.
Right, if there's nothing else going on, I make a motion that we adjourn at 7:38.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Me too.
I want to say that, if we do that.
Is this your office?
Thank you, everybody.
And
Is this your office?
That's the junk mail.
Is that there's
Good,
a
you
lot
pick up
more
all the shares.
information in there than
I
just
will.
Middleton News.
That
There
helps.
was a very
Brought back
good
up.